Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. This is Allied School Noshara campus. I really hope everyone is staying at home, healthy and following all the precautions. As we are following biology book, textbook for grade 9th, and our today's topic is cells and their specificity and surface area to volume ratio. Let's start from reading from page number 79. If you look over page number 79, you will find out topic 4.4, cells and their specificity. This means that cells, there are too many cells in the body and each cell has its own specific function. We know that cells are the basic units of structure and function of living organisms. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all the functions, but in multicellular organisms, different cells are specialized to perform different functions. For example, in plants, xylem cells conduct water from roots to upper parts, phloem cells conduct food to various parts of the body. Similarly, there are cells specialized for photosynthesis. Xylem and phloem, they are known as vascular bundles or vascular tissues. These cells are responsible for conduction of water and minerals throughout the plant. Xylem is responsible to conduct water from the roots up to the plants, different parts of plants, especially leaves, where leaves prepare the food, and after the formation of food, what happens that the food is sent to different parts of the body, plant body, roots, stem, leaves, all other parts by phloem cells. Similarly, there are cells specified for photosynthesis. Can you suggest what is the name of those cells? They are mesophyll cells, right? Mesophyll cells have different forms, different parts in them like chloroplasts, organelles, and then those organelles are responsible to carry chlorophyll, and then that chlorophyll makes or helps in photosynthesis. Right, so if you observe here, xylem is in plants, there is xylem and phloem to conduct water and minerals throughout the plant body, whereas in living things there is red blood cell which is responsible for conduction of oxygen throughout the plant body, throughout the human body or animal body, with some minerals as well. Similarly, in animals also different cells perform different functions. For example, nerve cells, they are also known as neurons, conduct nerve impulse and thus contribute in coordination of body. Nerve cells, if you recall just your initial slides, we have learned different sizes and different shapes of the cells, in which nerve cells were the ones which are largest cells of the human body, longest cells of the human body. They are also known as neurons, and neurons are responsible for conduction of nerve impulses or the response of brain to all parts of the body so that our body can coordinate. Similarly, muscle cells are also responsible for their specific job, that is movement, right? Except them, blood cells are of three different types, but here they have given you white blood cells and red blood cells. So red blood cells is responsible to carry oxygen and white blood cell is responsible to kill foreign agencies. Foreign agencies means that the particle or the bacteria which come from outside of the body to the body and which can cause damages, so their white blood cells act as guard, right? So what do? They kill these agents, foreign agents. So here red blood cells contribute to transportation of oxygen and minerals, whereas white blood cells contribute the defense of the cells. The cells of bone deposit calcium in their extracellular spaces. If this is a bone, so what happens that these cells, what do? They deposit calcium. So the more there is calcium, the more stronger the bone becomes, right? So time wisely what happens that there is more calcium deposition, and thus the children bones are quite weak, whereas as more time passes over them, they becomes tough. So why do they are tough? That is because of the function of bone cells. And what is the function of bone cells? That is to deposit calcium in extracellular spaces among them. So they help in support, right? Except them, we are having tongue cells which are responsible for taste, and we do have root hair. So if you remember, what is the function of root hair? Root hair helps in absorbing water from underground and then give it to the roots. So if suppose this is a root, so there are too many root hairs, right? And then these root hair, how do they absorb more water from the ground? That is because of more surface area. So when there is more surface area, look here, 1 2 3 4, so from all around the roots there are root hairs, and they increases the surface area of the roots. That's why they absorbs more water, right? So root hair absorbs water and soils from the soil. Except them, there are some cells in plants which are responsible to store food. They are known as parenchyma cells. And for mesocells, we discussed that they are present in the leaf and are responsible for photosynthesis. If you recall, so there is liver in our body, and what is the function of liver cells? That is to excrete bile secretion. Bile is a brownish or dark green pigment, fluid, and it helps in digestion of lipids and fats. So here all the cells, there are too many cells within the body, within an organism, and each cell is responsible for its particular function, right? And then if you recall your initial slides, so we discussed some shapes of the cells. Some are longest cells. They are like this, star shaped. These cells are known as neurons. Some are oval in shape. These cells are known as they may be of egg cells, right, which is the largest cell. And these cells may be like this and having a flagella. That is the bacterium cell, which is the smallest cell of all. If you look over red blood cells, so red blood cells are concave in shape to increase the surface area. So the more there is surface area, the more it can absorb, or it can hold oxygen. So it will carry more oxygen to all parts of the body. So different shapes of the cells make them responsible for their particular tissues. For their particular jobs. I hope the cells and their specificity is clear to each and every person. Now let's move towards your next topic, which is surface area to volume ratio. So what you not have to forget, surface area to volume ratio. Surface area is the area around, for example, this is your cell, right? This is a cell. In this cell, the matter inside the cell is the matter, or the space which the cell is actually occupying, that is called as volume, right? Whereas the boundary of the cell, how big is it or how small is it, that is the surface area of the cell. Surface area to volume ratio decides how much the cells can grow. That is, if volume of a cell is large, surface area will be small. If surface area of a cell is small, then it cannot grow further, right? Similarly, if surface area is large, volume is small, and if surface area is large, it means that the cell can grow and can act more and more, and it usually performs its function well. Why is the case? Because if the surface area is more, if this surface is provided, so the more surface is here, what will happen? That the more incoming nutrients, outgoing waste products, outgoing thermal energy, incoming energies, so the transformation or the conduction of different materials throughout the cell can take place easily if the surface area is more, right? And if the cell can respire more, this means that it can live more. So let's see, how do we decide if surface area is smaller or volume is larger? What always you have to remember, that is that whenever surface area of a cell is large, that means that its volume will be small, and if its volume is small, is large, so surface area will be small. Let us read here. Large cells have less surface area in relation to their volumes. If cells are large, so they will have small surface area and larger volume, while small cells have more surface area. If they are small, they will have more surface area and thus less volume. In both cases, the total volume is same. But as the surface area keep on changing, so let's see how can we find it. For this purpose, we will sketch two cubes. One cube with a larger surface area, or a large cube, right? And in the other case, we will have a small cube. So in the terms of cubes, what do we know? We know that cubes have 6 faces. Surface area to volume ratio. Large cells have less surface area in relation to their volume, while small cells have more surface area. Look at figure 4.19. Here is the figure 4.19. So if you look over here, there is a larger cube, whereas they have kept some small cubes. When the cube is large, its surface area is less, that is 5400 micrometer square. Whereas when the cubes are small and occupying the same volume as the first cube, the large cube was having, so the small cubes will have more surface area. So if you look over here, the volume as a whole is same. That is how much area it has covered, that is length into breadth into height. The same area has been covered by the smaller cells kept here. That is width, height and length, right? So overall volume is constant, but according to them the surface area is variable for different sizes of the cells. If the cells are larger, their surface area will be smaller, and if the cells are smaller, then their surface area will be larger. And when the surface area is large, that is very good for a cell. This means that they are then able to take on their responsibilities well. So let's see how they have taken out these figures. Let's have two cubes. This is a larger cube, it is a smaller cube. The larger cube, as we are talking about cubes, so cubes have 6 faces. Which 6 faces do this cube have? First face, second face, third face, fourth face, fifth face and sixth face, right? Similarly here, this is your first face, its second face, this is the third face, this is the fourth face, it is the fifth face, and that is the sixth face. So in case of cubes, we are having 6 faces, and to find out surface area, we have to multiply these 6 faces with length into width, that is area. So suppose in your book what they have given you, the larger cube is having 30 micrometer length, 30 micrometer height and 30 micrometer width. Similarly, the smaller one is having 10 micrometer width, 10 micrometer length and 10 micrometer height. So if you multiply in this larger case, what will you get? You will get 6 into area is 30 into 30. You will get 5400 micrometer square. Whereas in this case, when you multiply it, it is 6 into 10 into 10. 6 into 10 tens are 100. This is 600 micrometer square. But now, if you remember, we said that the volume will be same. So this means that we will need these many cubes which can take the volume or which can take the space of the larger cell. So according to your book, 27 cells of this size will accommodate the volume of the larger cell of 30 micrometer. So what we have to do, we will simply multiply 27 with 600 because it is the surface area for one. So 27 cells will have surface area of 2700 into 600, which will give you as a result 16,200 micrometer square. So the larger cell was having surface area of 5400 micrometer square, whereas the smaller cells will have surface area of 16,200 micrometer square. And now you don't have to forget that if the cells are smaller, for example the blood cells, for example the bacterium cells, why do usually bacteria reach everywhere? They are present everywhere. Why does it happen so? That is because their cells are quite small. They are almost 0.1 micrometer in diameter, right? So because they are very small, their surface area will be higher, and when their surface area is higher, they can uptake more nutrients and they can give out more waste. So this means that they can respond more smoothly. Similarly, if we are talking about red blood cells, which is having volume of about 0.8 micrometer, so what happens there? That is why the red blood cells or white blood cells or all the cells, they just reach to each and every portion of our body, even into the capillaries, even to the nails, to nose, to ear, to each and every place. So this means that smaller surface area will have more accommodation of nutrients, right? It was enough for today. What you have to do, you have to read your topic carefully, and wherever you find any difficulty, you have to ask on Google Classroom. I hope there will be nothing to ask, but still I'm looking for your response. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care.